This is certain to be an all-time classic today on SICW Wrestling Explosion. Hello, this is Larry Matysek. The feature today is Jake Dirden trying to take the classic wrestling title from Iron Man Ken Kasa. 2 out of 3 falls, 1 hour time limit. This contest had fans at the East Carondelet Community Center on the edge of their seats for some 36 minutes. What a fabulous duel. Today we have as much as our television time allows. The end result made both Kasa and Dirden targets for every top star. Kasa versus Dirden right after this. It's Jake Dirden going for the Classic Wrestling Championship against Iron Man Ken Kasa, Travis Cook, Kasa's manager at ringside. And look at Kasa saying, I got you, and I'm going to shoot you down, my friend. I'm going to put you down and keep the Classic Championship. Kasa stretches out. It's a nice test of wills here right at the start. Jake Dirden, a big star. Somebody who's really captured the imagination of fans all through SICW and all over the Midwest. He hasn't made Ricky Cruz too happy. Of course, we heard about that from Mr. Cruz. But Mr. Cruz is making so many enemies at this point, I don't know that it really matters if Cruz likes him or doesn't like him. Dirden throws Kasa down, just a test of strength, and they locked up. Dirden barking a little bark towards Travis Cook, and then the crowd starts chanting, dirty, dirty, dirty. Not dirty, but dirty, dirty. I think that's a nickname if you would understand that. Dirden locks up with Kasa. Neither man bending much off, but again they lock up. Just a test of wills and strengths, pulling on each other's heads, trying to pull the chin down. There used to be a thing called pulling the chin down basically years ago when Joe Millich and some of the old shooters, in his wrestling parlance would be called, the guys who were the real tough guys would break in young wrestlers. They take them up into a gym all alone and they say, let's find out how tough you are, kid, how much you want this. And they get a hold of the back of the man's head and pull it forward so the chin was pulled down into the chest. And then they'd hold it there because they were so strong they could do that. And the young guy tried to move, and eventually he'd either pass out, throw up, or he'd get up and he'd stay and he'd fight. Not many did, but it was a test to see how much punishment, how much you were willing to take. Very simple, very punishing. And that's a little bit of what Dirden and Kasa were doing originally, and now Kasa complains that Dirden pulled his hair. Once more, they test each other out, move around, think about it. It's a testing moment right now. They have plenty of time, 2 out of 3 falls, 1 hour time limit, the traditional St. Louis title main event. Promoter Herb Simmons wanted to do that after the one battle before between Dirden and Kasa, when Dirden was actually surprised and outsmarted, very bluntly outsmarted by Ken Kasa, who's proving to be a very bright, a very resilient classic wrestling champion ever since he won the crown from Ricky Cruz. Granted, under controversial circumstances. It's one of the arguments Ricky Cruz has had. But those things happen, and Kasa took advantage of it. And since that time, he's held onto the title. There have been some moments. Having Travis Cook around hasn't hurt. But bottom line is the bottom line. Kasa's still the champion. Hammerlock on Dirden. Pulling up with that hammerlock on Dirden. 2 big men. Dirden 6'6", Kasa probably 6'3", 6'4", about 6'4", I'd say. Elbow smash right into the ear of Kasa. Kasa down and rolls out, says, that's enough. Dirden says, no, it's not enough. I'm going out to visit with you. And Jake Dirden goes out to move around the ring and chase Ken Kasa, hopefully back into the ring. No, he catches him and begins pounding on Ken Kasa outside the ring. Jake Dirden, wasting no time, he grabs Kasa and runs him headfirst into the door. Dirden runs Kasa headfirst into the door. Referee Jay King outside there trying to restore order. He doesn't want to be counting on both men, certainly this early in the match. He's going outside and telling them to come back in the ring. But where's Dirden going? He grabs Kasa, pulls him back towards the back of the room that's jam-packed, and he slams Kasa's head into the soundboard. Jake Dirden slamming Ken Kasa's head into the soundboard, and now raking his fingernails down the back of Kasa. The crowd standing, I bet those folks who were standing in the back rows never thought they'd see Dirden and Kasa right in front of them. Dirden picks up the chair. Jay King trying to talk him out of it. Put that chair down, says Jay King. He at least gets the chair away. No, he doesn't. They're struggling for the chair, and then a punch to the stomach by Ken Kasa to Jake Dirden. They're battling out in the aisles. And Durden's head slammed into the wall. Slammed into the wall by Ken Kasa. Just as Kasa's head was slammed into the door, Durden's head was slammed into the wall by his opponent. Oh, this thing, all of a sudden it exploded. You kind of knew it was going to happen. You just didn't know when. Dirden blocks getting slammed into the wall again. He stops getting his head bounced off that wall. And now it's Kasa, whose head uses a basketball off the wall. The fans say, way to go, Jake Dirden. They high-five him. We're back by the concession stand now. Battling in the back, Jay King, the referee, trying to get them back towards the ring. Get back in the ring, get back in the ring, he says. And you can see that Ken Kasa, his head, where was he put? He was pushed down into a trash can, I think, by Jake Dirden. Yes, that's what it was, a trash can that Jake Dirden pushed Ken Kasa down into. And now Kasa brings Dirden back, or Dirden rather brings Kasa back to the ring and bounces Kasa's head off the ring apron. And let's move ahead a little bit, because this entire first fall, rough and tumble as it was, it went over 21 minutes. So we joined the action a little bit later after that battle outside the ring between Kasa and Dirden. And right now it's Kasa with the edge as he drops the knee onto the chest of Jake Dirden. Another knee drop by Ken Kasa on Jake Dirden. Big knee drops. Those knee drops can be so effective when you drive them down into the stomach, into the chest, knocking the wind out of your opponent. And now the nerve clamp. The nerve clamp. Kasa digging in. Both these guys know, since it's 2 out of 3 falls, since it's got the long time limit in it, the key as much as anything will be to wear down your opponent. The punishment you give early might well be the punishment that pays off later, when an earlier bruise or something that just took a little bit of the initiative away, a little bit of the cardiovascular conditioning away. And that's what Kasa is trying to do right now, just as Dirden tried to do it when he pounded on Kasa outside the ring earlier. Now, Kasa tries to do it to Dirden as he works with first the knee drops and then the nerve clamp and yanks the hair to pull Jake Dirden back down. A chop into that nerve again, and then once more the nerve clamp by Ken Kasa on Jake Dirden. Jay King checking to see if Dirden would want to give up, but I think we all know the answer to that, don't we? Dirden, he's not going to quit. He wants this title. He wants it badly. We heard him say, even if it was somebody he liked, somebody he respected, like, say, a Ron Powers or Gary Jackson, somebody like that, he'd still fight, because it's all about going for the gold. And I think every wrestler, in any sport, any meaningful sport, whether it's UFC, go back into the days of wrestling at the Chase, they know that this is all about one thing. The most important thing is being number one, being the champion. That's what Ken Kasa is now. That's what Jake Dirden wants to become. Kasa still squeezing with that nerve clamp. It takes a toll. It's going to take a toll on Jake Dirden, as big and tough and strong as he is. That's going to hurt him, just as anything that Dirden does to Kasa is going to hurt him. Oh, what is... Oh, a reverse DDT really by Kasa. They're going for a pin. Count of 1 in. At 2, Dirden's shoulders come up. Kasa would have loved to catch that first fall right there, wouldn't he? Kasa pitches Dirden outside the ring. Jake Dirden out on the floor. Kasa talking to referee Jay King. King warning him about pitching the man outside the ring by using the hair. Travis Cook has ideas. He comes in with a kick to the rib cage of Jake Dirden. Then he retreats quickly. Travis not going to take too many chances here, just in case. Jake Dirden's kind of like a tornado. He has a little bit of that Ron Powers in him. Kasa comes outside the ring with a punch to the back. Once more, he pushes Dirden now. He pushes Dirden into the ring. Where's Kasa going? Goes up to the top rope. Comes off with an elbow smash that lands again into the chest, knocking the wind out. Probably the 4th or 5th time that we've seen him trying to knock the wind out of Jake Dirden at this point in the match. Dirden having some problems right now. It's Kasa who seems to be getting the better of it. He pushes, it's like a smother almost. Sneaky. He pushed the face of Dirden down into the mat, squeezing his nose against the mat. It was almost like a smother. He's thinking of that head squeeze, that skull crusher we often have seen him use, where he grabs either side of the ear, pushes it in a type of really almost like an iron claw from behind. Let's see if he can get it on there. Yes, there it is, the Skull Crusher by Ken Kasa. Squeezing, squeezing. Even all that hair, that's not going to be enough of a pad to keep Jake Dirden from yelling. And he feels it. He doesn't want to be in this too long. Dirden trying to catch his wind. I know Dirden likes to really work that cardio. There's a lot of things to stay in shape, and he does. He comes out with elbow smashes into the stomach. And then Kasa again with the Skull Crusher from the front on Jake Dirden. Kasa, a little bit more punishment for Jake Dirden from Ken Kasa. Throughout that first fall, back and forth. It's been almost 20 minutes. Back and forth. Sometimes it was Dirden in command. Sometimes it was Kasa in command. Things just stayed even. A very, very tough situation. Dirden, his head being squeezed. Now he's trying to muscle up, trying to come back, trying to summon some extra energy to get that adrenaline flowing. And a punch right to the stomach of the classic wrestling champion Ken Kasa. Kasa following in the footsteps of Danny Boy Hawkins, Ron Powers, Ricky Cruz, and now Ken Kasa with the Classic Wrestling Championship. Kasa whipped to the corner. He goes up in the air thinking that Dirden might be charging. Drop kick. Whoa, did you see that? The big man with a drop kick right on the button of Ken Kasa. That came out of nowhere, but it came out at just the right time, and it caught Ken Kasa, the champion, completely by surprise. Nicely done by Jake Dirden. Trying to turn this around a little bit. Here comes Dirden to his feet. Kasa a little bit still stunned. He charges out. Dirden catches him with a punch. Another forearm smash right into the jaw by Jake Dirden. A forearm smash levels Kasa. Then a kick to Kasa's head by Dirden. And suddenly the tide has turned. It's now Jake Dirden. Jake Dirden with the upper hand against Ken Kasa. Headbutt. Not to the front of the skull, but rather to the side, up around the ear. Dirden went for a body slam. That didn't work. Kasa gets that, aiming for the reverse DDT one more time. Pulling back. No, he's looking for that Iron Maiden torture lock. And instead, here comes Dirden up with the thumb, looking for his Oriental Spike. He twists around. And look out. There it is, the Oriental Spike. The Oriental Spike by Jake Dirden on Ken Kasa. The Oriental Spike, and right in the middle of the ring. Oh, exactly where Jake Dirden wants Ken Kasa. Look at Travis Cook saying, tap, tap, tap. It's 2 out of 3. You got time. And Ken Kasa taps. He gives up the first fall. Ken Kasa submits, and the first fall of this momentous battle belongs to Jake Dirden. A good move as he comes out and drives that thumb, drives the spike right into the nerves and the neck of Ken Kasa. Fall number 1 is the one of Jake Dirden. Saturday, April 26th, SICW presents a sensational card at the East Carondelet Community Center. Jake Dirden and Flash Flanagan square off. Dirden versus Flanagan. Ricky Cruz and 410-pound Bull Bronson tangle with Chaz Wesson and Ron Powers. Cruz and Bull versus Chaz and Powers. Iron Man Ken Kasa defends the classic title against Gary Jackson. Kasa versus Jackson. For tickets, call 286-4848. Get ready for an explosion Saturday, April 26th. Dirden against Flash. Cruz and Bull against Chaz and Powers. Kasa against Jackson. The second fall begins, and Jake Dirden quickly behind Ken Kasa. He wants to get to that. There he goes, right again for the Oriental Spike, and he's got it. He's got the Oriental Spike a second time, or does he know? Did Kasa manage to block it? He kicks off the apron just the way he won that last match. He's on top of Dirden, but he can't hold the shoulders down this time. Oh, Dirden outsmarted the smart one this time. It worked one time for the champion, but it didn't work a second time. And Jake Dirden avoided being pinned even while he was holding the Oriental Spike. And this time, you're not going to see Kasa tapping so easily. He's going to hang on until he is out and out cold. He grabs the hair. He's pulling on Jake Dirden, trying to find a way to get out of the Oriental Spike. Travis Cook grabs the wrist of the champion. He grabs the wrist of the champion. He's not interfering in the match. Whoa, look at this. Both men. Big tumble over the top rope. Dirden, Kasa falling over the top rope while Dirden had Kasa trapped with the Oriental Spike. The first fall belongs to the challenger, Jake Dirden. The second fall up for grabs right now. Oh, if he could have kept Kasa in the middle of the ring, he might have been able to force a submission or really to make him go unconscious, in which case Jake Dirden would be the new classic champion. They both start moving towards the ring. Dirden grabs Kasa's head. He's going to run him into that ring post. No, Kasa shoves Dirden away, and Dirden's head bounces off the ring post. The referee's been counting on both men. Look out here. Dirden's got to get back in that ring. He starts going for the ring. Travis Cook, a little trip while the referee's back was turned. I'm sure Jay King didn't see it, or he would have done something. And Jake Dirden, he's been outside the ring for that count of 10. Dirden has been counted out. Saturday, April 26th, SICW presents a sensational card at the East Carondelet Community Center. Jake Dirden and Flash Flanagan square off. Dirden versus Flanagan. Ricky Cruz and 410-pound Bull Bronson tangle with Chaz Wesson and Ron Powers. Cruz and Bull versus Chaz and Powers. Ironman Ken Kasa defends the classic title against Gary Jackson. Kasa versus Jackson. For tickets, call 286-4848. Get ready for an explosion Saturday, April 26th. Dirden against Flash. Cruz and Bull against Chaz and Powers. Kasa against Jackson. The third fall is ready to go, and when Dirden starts making a move towards Kasa, Ken Kasa yanks Dirden face first into the turnbuckle. Here we are. First fall belonging to Jake Dirden, a little bit after 20 minutes with the Oriental Spike. The second fall going to Ken Kasa when Dirden was counted out outside the ring, and that was a short fall. Only went about a minute and 40. So we've had a little bit of controversy. We've had a lot of bumps and bruises. We've had a lot of tension. We've had a lot of really, really bullheaded, strong fighting between two men who both want the same thing. They both want to be the champion. Of course, Kasa is the champion. Dirden's got to beat him. The draw's not good enough. So even though we're well into the match now, 25 minutes or so, that doesn't mean it's enough. Dirden has to pin or forced to submit Ken Kasa. Remember, the challenger can only beat the champion if the deciding fall of a match, be it one fall or 2 out of 3 falls, the deciding fall has to be by pin or submission. That's the only way the challenger can win. But in many ways, that's fair. A kick from Dirden, a spinning double club from Jake Dirden, and then he covers Ken Kasa. Kasa gets the shoulders up. Kasa gets the shoulders up, long, lean, and hard. A lean, mean fighting machine, as Nick Bockwinkel would have said years ago. Reminiscent of Blackjack Lanza, who of course was managed by the great Bobby Heenan. Wonder how many people remember Bobby Heenan and how they compare him to Travis Cook. Whoop, choke slam. The choke slam from Jake Dirden on Ken Kasa. The choke slam, that's won many a match for Jake Dirden. Can it win this one? He crawls over to Kasa, hooks one leg, gets back over the shoulders. Travis Cook's there pointing, and of course Travis Cook was part of that count out in the second fall. He didn't hold on to anything, but he was just there long enough to put a little trip, a little balance throwing him off of Jake Dirden when he tried to get into the ring. It was just enough to put him off balance. He slipped off the apron, and the count of 10 was continued. So Travis Cook has played a part in this too. Here comes Dirden with a kick. Oh, a kick to the chin of Ken Kasa. Right underneath the chin, almost booting Kasa's head into the parking lot. Dirden tried to whip, that didn't work. But Kasa, quick response. Even though one move failed on him, he managed to respond to it and come off with a kick that pushed Dirden back. Double barrel drop kick by Kasa. That scored many a win for Kasa. Count of 1, 2, and the challenger gets his shoulder up. That's a move that has really worked. The Luthez drop kick, the double barrel drop kick that Ken Kasa uses so well. He put the challenger down on the mat and covered him, but only could get him down for a count of 2 before Dirden broke free. Dirden's still alive in his quest to become the classic wrestling champion. Kasa waiting again. Is he going to try that again? He might be thinking of it. Dirden clearly messed up. He's a little confused, and he took a second drop kick, and that one was right on the button. That hurt. Kasa with the cover, and once more, Dirden won't quit. Dirden gets that shoulder up. Strong man, a bull of a man. Kasa taking a deep breath, saying, what's it take to get this guy down? That last double barrel drop kick was really right there, hitting right in the chest. Down went Dirden and Kasa covered him, but he couldn't keep him there. He's going to try another one. A third double barrel drop kick by Kasa on Dirden. Count of 1, 2, and Jake Dirden just won't stay down, and he screams. And so does Kasa. They both scream. Dirden trying to find extra energy. Kasa in frustration. because he can't get the challenger to stay down for the double-barrel drop kick. Durden's up again, blocks a punch, and Dirden begins fighting back with punches of his own. Jake Dirden with a series of punches to Ken Kasa. The big boot to the chest and chin of Ken Kasa, the champion, and he's the one down now. Oh, that had to hurt so much. 3 double-barrel drop kicks, and he couldn't pin the challenger. And this time it's Ken Kasa who comes up after taking a big boot to his face. You can see the toll this match is taking on both Jake Dirden and Ken Kasa, the sweat pouring off their bodies. The building was packed at the East Carondelet Community Center. And let me tell you, it was hot in there. It was a sauna, especially by this point in the evening. Here comes Travis Cook trying to get into the ring. And Dirden chases him out. He goes behind. Oh, he goes behind Kasa, and there's the Oriental Spike. The Oriental Spike by Jake Dirden on Ken Kasa. He releases it, and he doesn't give Travis Cook a chance to get in and help Ken Kasa. A clothesline puts Travis Cook down, and then again, Dirden goes for the Oriental Spike on Ken Kasa. Travis Cook, seeing his man, his client, in deep trouble. Where's Travis going? He's up on the second rope. He tries the dive bomb. Jake Dirden, who just catches him and flings Travis back into the corner. And a punch to the head. More punches onto Travis Cook by Jake Dirden. His attention diverted. Oh, Kasa tried to come in from behind. That didn't work. Dirden throws. Oh, man, he threw Kasa over the top rope. That's an automatic disqualification. And then Dirden, he's gone wild. He's lost it. He slams Travis Cook into the referee. He lost his temper. He made one huge mistake there in all that chaos. He threw Ken Kasa over the top rope. And then in his anger, he rammed Travis Cook into the referee, Jay King. I can tell you right now, it's going to earn him a disqualification. Not what he wanted to have happen, but Jake Dirden couldn't take the frustration, couldn't take the anger anymore. That tough man, Ken Kasa, who wouldn't bend, wouldn't break. They couldn't quite get past him. And suddenly Jake Dirden is frustrated because he's not the champion. He just couldn't take it anymore. All because Kasa just wouldn't give an inch. Travis Cook, though, oh, he's paying the price for this. Jake Dirden, his tie yanked off the throat of Travis Cook. Dirden yanks Cook, oh, flings him across the ring, throwing him into the top turnbuckle. Dirden, it doesn't matter now. He's just going to dish out punishment to both Travis Cook and to the champion, Ken Kasa. Kasa pulling Dirden out. What a frustrating evening after a great match like that. What a brawl. But in the end, Kasa had enough willpower, enough toughness to hang in there until finally the temper broke on Jake Dirden. He's still a young wrestler. Remember that. He's still young. He's still new at this stuff. And somehow Kasa found a way to stay alive. And Dirden just lost it. He lost his cool and seeing Travis Cook. Well, that's enough to do it to anybody, because then Jake Dirden began pounding on Travis Cook, and it was a rough night for Travis Cook. As you can see, Jake Dirden just throwing him all over the place as Dirden wanted to take out his frustrations. Saturday, April 26th, SICW presents a sensational card at the East Carondelet Community Center. Jake Dirden and Flash Flanagan square off. Dirden versus Flanagan. Ricky Cruz and 410-pound Bull Bronson tangle with Chaz Wesson and Ron Powers. Cruz and Bull versus Chaz and Powers. Iron Man Ken Kasa defends the classic title against Gary Jackson. Kasa versus Jackson. For tickets, call 286-4848. Get ready for an explosion Saturday, April 26th. Dirden against Flash. Cruz and Bull against Chaz and Powers, Kasa against Jackson. That was an excellent battle, and somehow Iron Man Ken Kasa survived with the classic title intact. But now the pressure builds for the terrific card Saturday, April 26th in East Carondelet. If Jake Dirden wants another shot at Kasa, Dirden must get past Flash Flanagan. If Kasa wants to keep the classic crown, Kasa must stop Gary Jackson April 26th. And we haven't even considered Ricky Cruz, Ron Powers, Chaz Wesson, Heath Hatton, and all the others who want the title. Action like this is why you can't miss SICW Wrestling Explosion.
Beat the red!